Hello, friends of the VisionCrypto channel. My name is Arian, and my channel is all about crypto and chart analysis, and explained as simply as possible. Since the last few days have been relatively calm and there hasn't been much movement in terms of price overall, I want to take the opportunity to discuss a price with you today that I haven't analyzed yet, and that is the SUI price. In the coming days, there will be more videos because some of you requested certain coins in the comments, including Quant, GLQ, and also GRT. But today, as I said, we're talking about SUI. With SUI, we set our starting point here, and that was October 23rd. And so to speak, the bear market high of SUI. And since then, SUI has made an upward movement. Now it's starting again, which can either be a wave A or a wave 1. Is it relatively uninteresting in this part for now? But it will be interesting later about the expectations to expect prices. But it will become very interesting again. Then both prices are going down. That was our low point in August 24th. And it looks more like that now. That the yellow count prevails in a wave B and not a wave, because the target for the start of wave 2 actually runs up to the 06 Fibonacci level, which means at 71 cents and with goodwill, because that can also be undercut sometimes. I've added the next Fibonacci level to it. That would already be the SO7 level, and that's rather unlikely. That a price drops so far down, and he broke through that as well. And we went even further down to 46 cents. That means from the first target at the 05 Fibonacci level to where the price has gone. The price has almost halved again. And there are two options. Usually not too far. Going down, I'm currently leaning more towards a wave B. This means that a price target on a higher level is likely to be in the price range here between $280, which we are already well above, and should be moving around $8,152. Of course, there is also the exception that a wave 2 could go further down, as that the standard allows it. Theoretically, it could drop down to 99%, but the probabilities are shifting. But I let it, as I said, because it can still be possible in individual cases. Also the white count on the chart. And so as the next step, we would be building out a wave 3 that just in the price range where wave C ends, technically begins at $852. It can still extend further up to a price of $35 US. And then there would be another wave 4 and then a wave 5. This means that the side price can definitely carry a lot of potential. If it becomes the white count, if it becomes the yellow count, we would be at a maximum of $8.52. A bit more moderate with it, and that would be at the peak of the stock current price to the upper edge. It would still be about 1.3x that one could achieve. But as you can see here, we still have a target zone that SUI is just entering now. This is basically, I'll show briefly since our low point here, a wave 1, 2, a wave 3. Now we're entering a wave 4. And from this wave 4, as I said, it will then go into the final rise upwards. Either a wave to conclude or a wave 3. The difference is just that in one case, there's the same direct sell-off, while in the other, there's only an intermediate correction and then another rise. Before we move on to the short-term time frame and take a closer look at this specific area where we currently stand and how the price trend could continue, I want to point out the following situation to you, and this is the micro-regulation, meaning this regulation that we are now being imposed on all European exchanges. That's all. Very good, of course. Because people say, okay, at the tax office, you might have fewer problems since everything is just controlled much more closely. already in advance with all the documents that you have to submit. And you simply have, because there are more regulations, also various advantages, because you know exactly what is this crypto allowed to do and what is it not allowed to do. However, this also brings along some side effects, which might not taste so good to some. For example, you're limited in the variety of coins that you can still trade, restricted. For me, it's like this. So I have an exchange that is EU regulated. I had that one relatively early on. So as my first exchange, so to speak. But I also work with Coinex, of course, for 2 years now, which is not EU regulated. And what you have to notice, while the non-EU regulated exchanges are listing more and more coins that you can practically trade. There are always fewer on the regulated exchanges. I can't trade SUI anymore, for example. I can't stake Algorand anymore either. They were simply removed from staking my Algorand to buy more. Then I have a double account. I move SUI tokens to a non-EU regulated exchange as they are not tradable. And in the end, I have to send the SUI tokens away from the exchange to a non-EU regulated exchange because they are simply not tradable. And to get to the crux of the matter, I can really recommend Coinex to you as a non-EU regulated exchange, because on one hand, you have a very, very easy identification process. So that means you actually don't have any identification. You just need to provide an email address, set a password, and you can start trading right away. You can also transfer in euros there, relatively straightforward. And above all, there are very, very many coins that you can trade on Coinex. And basically, there are more and more every day. The link to that is below in the video description. Feel free to take a look at that. Now let's move on to the short-term interpretation of SUI. And here we have arrived at the price target of wave C, the overarching wave 3 starting from our wave 2 or B, down here. So this upward movement is basically completely the same. There we have, regardless of the count, a 5-part upward movement. We are here after the peak. Whether wave 3 is currently experiencing a sell-off at 546, so as it should be, and either wave 4 will be developed through a 3-part downward movement, or it will be developed through a trend channel. That's not set in stone yet, but for me it currently looks more like a 3-part movement. That means the price is forming a wave A downwards. Then comes a correction. The upward movement is in a wave B, and then it goes down another level into a wave C. You have to be careful with these wave Bs. They can sometimes be a bit tricky because they don't have a fixed starting target, while in wave C, you can clearly say that in this correction, the starting target is between the 0.3 and 0.5 Fibonacci levels, which means between 253 and €2. But with wave B, can't that be? It can turn out very flat, but it can also overshoot. And when it overshoots, it's often the case that people think, yes, now it continues. We're getting back in so we don't miss anything. And then the price crashes down completely. Just from the fact it makes sense for you to subscribe to the channel. When we get up here, I already mentioned that earlier in the overarching analysis, it will be a key factor. Can we manage to extend this wave 5? That goes above the 1.6 Fibonacci and finds its end, or will we stay below? Because that will be crucial, whether there will be this wave 4 and 5, or if that's it with wave C. That also means that a very strong, drastic sell-off will follow. What I can do, but this is just for you to get a rough idea. These are definitely not price targets yet, because strictly speaking, we need to know how far wave 4 actually goes down to determine where is the price target for the wave 5. But let's do this now. So let's go up here and assume that our price target is at the 0.3 Fibonacci. If we hit the 3 Fibonacci level, we'll then see where the price targets for wave 5 might be. Get wave at 0.3 Fibonacci. In this downward movement in the 3-part, would it run to the 0.3 Fibonacci? We would have a target for the wave 5 at the 0.3 Fibonacci, which means at 540, roughly the peak we currently have. And it can run up exactly up to the edge, up to the 1.6 Fibonacci, where wave 3 would then begin. But if the price goes further down to the 0.5 Fibonacci, which it can definitely do, because that's the regular target, it can run up to that point without any issues. Then you'll see for yourselves, we're no longer in the white count, but then the yellow count becomes much more likely. But that can always happen in a bull market. That such a wave going up can also extend. That means it can also shoot above the regular price targets. This is supposed to be the assessment. It could have been from SUI. As I said, in the near future, there will be more videos on other prices to take a look where the bull run top might be and also the current assessment. And every weekend, of course, there's also from several coins a XXL analysis in the overarching chart showing what the current development looks like. I hope there were some exciting pieces of information for you in today's video. Feel free to leave a thumbs up on the video, drop me a short comment, or maybe just a little smiley. And I would like to point out that there's another exciting chart analysis waiting for you in the credits. I wish you all a great time. Until the next video, and bye.